Shaun, welcome back to RaithTV. Here at the club's channel, we're invested in offering something bigger than just a pre-match, post-match, and you and I have been keen to chat for quite some time. I guess the focus is on learning a wee bit more about who are the people behind the jerseys, who are the people behind the numbers and what we read in the programme. So you've agreed to sit down with me, and I hope it's going to be a nice, relaxed conversation. How are you feeling about things?
No, I'm sure it'll be all good. Yeah, I've been looking forward to it, and it's sort of been a long time coming, but no, I'm glad to finally be here.
We are going to start with, I guess, looking at first football memories. Where did it all begin for you?
Probably just young boy, playing with my cousin. My uncle used to take us out the back, out to the parks. Took me to a few Rangers games when I was young, and I was just always watching football when I was young, playing, had the ball at my feet constantly. So I think he was a big factor, my uncle, when I was young, to just sort of get me started with football, and my cousin, two of us were just football daft when we were young.
I sometimes wonder if football players have a bit of fatigue about the game because you're training, you're back and forth to the gym, you're playing, you're looking at the next match, they're analysing the last match, but you're telling us that you just live and breathe the game.
No, I do. I'm probably addicted to just football in general, to be fair. I think when I'm not playing, I'm watching. If I'm not watching, I'll be coaching with Dylan, and I think I'm just constantly doing stuff with football, out with family stuff. So no, I do love it. I think for a young age, that's been my thing, has been playing football and watching football and being involved with football. So no, I do honestly love it. These
sessions aren't just about Raith Rovers, so we'll go through your career and we want to get a wee sense the person that you were, the person that you are, and the person that you're going to become. When did you realise that football was something that you had a natural gift for, that things came a wee bit easier for you than they did other people?
So I think I started playing for a team, Kenway, when I was maybe 4 or 5. And to be fair, I was a striker, and believe it or not, I scored loads and loads and loads of goals. So I used to be a striker. I used to score, honestly, barrel loads of goals. And as I've got older, I've probably started moving further back. But no, I think I was pretty good when I was young. And just, I had played with a lot of my mates in the schools, and then we had a really good boys club team at Kenway, and I think we went undefeated for a long time and stuff. So we're one of the better teams around this area, and I scored a lot of goals and was doing really well.
Did the football club, in playing on a weekly basis and training and having this wee cohort of pals, was that a safe place for you?
No, 100%. It was, my coach took me for Kenway, took me to Celtic when I ended up signing there when I was a bit older at 9 or 10, and I had him for maybe 4 up to 9, so somebody I really trusted. Had all these boys that I'd play, sort of same players all the way up the levels as well, and obviously at school with them, so you feel safe when you're going to training, and it's a bit different back then. You would only maybe train once or twice a week, but other than that, I was out playing football with my mates constantly as well, so it was just constant football when I was young.
Building up to a recession today, I guess you've given me a mark of ultimate respect. You're saying, Davey, my upbringing's not been straightforward. There have been real challenges across it, but it's on the table, and I trust you to lead the conversation in a kind of sensitive way.
Yeah.
Starting from your early years, you were looking towards your footballing coach for that bit of guidance, that bit of support, because you lost your father at a very early age.
Yeah, so probably I was 1 and lost my dad, so probably sounds mad, but I never really knew what a father figure was when I was young, because I never had a dad to look up to and stuff like that. So probably there was a number of people, my uncle was good with me when I was young, my footballing coach, Bob McPhail, who was a big part of my football journey when I was young. So I think that early bit, I never really knew what it was to sort of have a dad, because I was too young to understand at that age. It wasn't until you obviously get older and you realise you've not got a dad and stuff. So no, I think that bit was, until you're a wee bit older, it was difficult to take that.
At that time, it was, you mentioned coaches, uncles, there will be friends and fathers and so forth that would help you out, but maybe the biggest presence through that time was your gran, the matriarch that steps forward. What kind of person was Patsy?
To be fair, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for my gran, to be fair. When my dad passed away, my mum, she really struggled. I think she became addicted to drugs, and I think there was a point where it was really difficult. I had a younger brother, who were maybe only like 4 or 5, and like it's terrible, but you seen like different people coming in and out the house, and my gran stayed across the road from my mum, and then I just remember one day I was just like, got my wee brother and we just like ran across to my gran's, and then for that time, I think 5 or 6, like we stayed with my gran until like 18 or whatever, and she done everything. She took me to my games, she washed my boots, she was at every one of my games when I was young, supporting me. Went to Scotland games with her, like we were part of going to the Scotland games with there was a bus in Kenway as well. So to be fair, like she's taught me everything that I am today, and if it wasn't for her, like I would be nowhere near in life. So
how do you look back on the experience of that wee boy? You mentioned that story about running across a busy road, taking your wee brother. You had responsibility. You've also, worth noting, I guess when we come forward to your adult years and the responsibility you've got for the kids and your coaching, at an early age you had this kind of nurturing vibe about you, didn't you?
Yeah, it's just, I suppose like you start learning more about drugs and stuff like that. As I got older, I could just tell when my mum wasn't right. Just to be signs, and you just start picking up on it, and I just knew like, probably like, it's not a bad place, Kenway, it's the same, there's sort of bad areas everywhere, but my mum could be fine for like 5-6 months, and you think, right, it's perfect, it's all good, and then she'd have like a setback, and then it would be difficult for weeks. But like my gran was just there, and she still like a young woman, she dedicated her life to me and my younger brother, and then eventually I've got another young brother as well who he went on and stayed with my gran as well. So no, it was difficult when I was young. Like it was, because they stayed so close to each other, even if you looked out the window, you could still see like cars or people got in it. Like just, you seen stuff that you shouldn't have really seen when you were young. So I probably felt like a bit of responsibility for my younger brother. That was like, no, we need to, and to be fair, my gran, like for that moment, she put us number one, and she's made us who we are today.
Is there a sense there that what you're seeing every day is you're ordinary, but your gran helped you to see that actually what you were living with was extraordinary, and there's more out there for you?
Aye, no, 100%. I think like my mum was like, she'd go through spells where she was like a normal mum. She'd be there, she'd help, she'd do loads. She was still an amazing person, but just, I don't know, it's hard. She had an addiction, so it was tough. She'd tried loads of different things to get off the drugs and stuff like that as well. So no, I think my gran she just knew, obviously, at that point that she was going to look after us, and I think after that she just basically dedicated her life. She was still young enough to go and do her own things, but no matter what she'd done, she put me and my brother Ryan before anything else. So
she knows that football's an area that she can guide you towards, with the hope, the aspiration that there's going to be joy at the end of it. You move from local football across to Celtic at a pretty early age.
Yeah. So again, like a massive factor. Her, she was Saturday morning, she'd be waking me up, we'd go over to Kenway, and I'd have my game. She'd be there for the first minute to the last minute. We'd walk back home. She'd clean my boots after the game. Then I'd sometimes go to an East Fife game and with some of the other boys in the team. And she was just always there. And then I think there was quite a few scouts when I was young. As I said, I did score quite a lot of goals. So I ended up getting scouted for Celtic, and she'd still come to these sort of games with my coach and stuff like that as well. She'd try and get to as much games as possible.
Was that locally based, or were you travelling through the West?
To start with, I was travelling to Glasgow. Then there was a few training sessions in Dundee as well. So there was another boy who played for Celtic the year above, and his dad took me to training. My gran didn't drive or that, so he took me to training, and then so it was a bit of both Glasgow, Dundee, and then always in the weekend I'd play a game in Glasgow or whatever.
What was that like as an apprenticeship with such a kind of massive club? And I know that your kind of cohort of players that you were in amongst McGregor, McGill, there was some really good players there too.
No, it was amazing because you go for boys' club where you didn't really hate too much. Where you go Celtic, I went away to like France, Belgium, Qatar, like some amazing away places and places I would never get to go to when I was at Kenway and stuff like that. So just you get given all this sort of stuff at a young age, you're like, it's a different world out here. So no, it was quality, to be fair.
I think you've given us our tagline for this interview, Kenway to Qatar. There's not much bigger journeys that I've heard about.
No, that was special. It was like a big sports complex, and I think we ended up playing a wee tournament over there and went out and done like the desert trips and stuff like that. So no, it was a young boy to go and experience that sort of stuff is like, could only dream of that really.
At that age, are you already getting a sense that football's, I think we use the phrase a way out too often, but maybe a way forward might be a better way of saying it, that you've got a real chance of making this?
When you're young, and I knew like I was always pretty good when I was young, and I think obviously if you're at a team like Celtic and you're obviously doing something right, so you start, the older you get, you do start sort of dreaming that you're going to get to be a football player, because that's ultimately what you dream of when you're a young kid. So no, it was good. Like, it was, the experiences were top class, to be fair.
That sets you up well for a journey to the west of Fife and your next stop.
Yeah, so I think I got to 14, 15 at Celtic, and it was getting harder and harder to make the training. I was playing sort of wide, and I never really enjoyed it as much when I was out wide. I liked being more central and stuff. So there was a scout, Jim MacArthur, who had been trying to get me from Celtic to Dunfermline, and then I think Celtic kind of agreed to say, like, look, it would be better if it was more local and stuff like that. And I felt like if I went to Dunfermline, I've got a better chance to try and break into a first team, because see, when you're at Celtic, they're bringing in players from all over Europe, and there'll maybe be one, if you're lucky, to make it to Celtic's first team. So I was trying to think more of a long term, that I've got a better chance to play first team football at Dunfermline.
Across your career, it's quite a decorated career, even from your youth experience at Dunfermline, Reserve League Cup, and then you captained their Youth Cup final team in 2013. Success has followed you.
No, I have done all right, I suppose, with promotions and league titles and stuff like that. I think it's just, you want to win when you play, so I'm like that. Anything I play, even if I'm playing my wee man, I like winning, I like winding up and stuff. So I think it's just sort of natural, like you become, it's a habit, you want to keep winning whenever you play, so it's good.
We regularly say that Scottish football is a goldfish bowl, and I guess looking through a lot of your story, I think, oh yeah, we know him, oh he's played with us, oh yeah, there's a game that we were at. You come on and make your debut against Montrose, and then your first start is in the Fife Derby. What do you recall about
that? So by that time I had been training with the Dunfermline first team for a long time, and there was a story, I was in the Premier League the year before I actually made my debut. I was meant to start against Kilmarnock. I don't know if Potts was playing it, but Jim McIntyre was the manager. We had a few injuries, a few suspensions in midfield, and I'd been training all the time. So I never knew, but the Saturday turned up, got told you're playing against Kilmarnock at home. That afternoon there was bad fog. The game ended up getting called off. 20 minutes later, half an hour later, the fog disappeared, the game was cancelled. We ended up training on the pitch, and then I never played the rest of that season. So that's just that wee bit of luck sometimes in football that goes with you, and sometimes it doesn't. But the following year, played the first game against Raith, 1-1 0. It was New Year Derby, was it?
It was New Year Derby, I remember commentating
so
on it. Yep.
The two teams were at the top of the league. Again, I'd been doing well, training and stuff, and I mind just getting chucked in and absolutely loving it. When you're a young boy, I think there's no fear. You just go out there and you just think about playing well, and you're no worrying like maybe what you are now. Like, you think about stuff a lot more, where when you're young, you're just fearless. You're out there, and I just mind it. It was amazing, the atmosphere and stuff.
The night before that, the running up the tunnel, the prep before the game, are you affected by the environment, the enormity, the derby nature? Tell us a football player's outlook in that, because as supporters we think, I'd love to run it in a derby, but actually we would shrivel and hide. How do you deal with the enormity of what's happening?
At that point, I knew I was ready to play in the first team, so it was more like you're just desperate for it to happen. And I was coming on some games, and I was close. I was training, and it was just got to that point like you're just desperate to get out there and play. So yeah, I just remember that game. I obviously know Fife Derby's a huge game. I knew there was got to be a big crowd because the two teams were right at the top of the league. New Year, it's always going to bring in a big support for both sides. So no, I just mind just absolutely buzzing to get out there and go and play. And luckily that day for us, like I played really well, and we won the game, and I ended up going on and playing a lot of games. So
that bit about the circular nature of Scottish football, that Andy Barrowman's in your team, assistant manager now, it was in your team. You mentioned John Potter the season before. Does that day help define that your path forward as a professional footballer? You've aspired, you've worked, you've put in the miles, you've put in the moments of self-doubt, self-belief, but actually turning up in the Fife Derby, performing. Is that a landmark moment where you think, yeah, I've got a career ahead of me here?
Yeah, it is, but again, the way I sort of, and even the way Potts was with young boys and me, like it was like make you hungry for more. So I knew at that point, like I knew I was capable, but I was desperate to go and do it again and play and keep playing each week, and just wanted to be a part of a first team, keep playing every week. And I think that just made you more determined, more hungry that, look, I want to go and have a decent career here.
Fife Derby's been good to you, hasn't it?
Have I got a decent record?
Certainly in dark blue, your record is 6 wins from 7, 4 out of 4 here in Kirkcaldy, and not a goal conceded.
Aye.
I love that.
Aye, it's obviously went quite well, to be fair, for Raith. I knew it was good because I minded, it's the games you look forward to, the Dunfermline ones, and like I could only mind the one at East End when we got a man sent off early that they beat us, but that's the games I love, like see the big games, the atmosphere and stuff like that. That's, I think, the best player, that's what you just want to play in that all the time.
As a Fifer, does that fixture stand out more than others in the dressing room, and do you kind of say to them, look, this is the real deal?
Aye, because I mind when I was at Dunfermline, then I was there for so long, you start getting a big connection with Dunfermline. They were the club that gave me my chance to break through and play this many games and give me a career to start with. But then since I've came here, it's totally flipped, and I'm just desperate to beat them every time. And even when we beat them, I like getting a bit back to them and stuff like that as well. So no, you get hooked on that club where you're with. I think I've not been to loads of clubs, and I've felt a good connection with every club I've went to. So it makes it better.
What are your other memories of being in the land of Sammy the Tammy? And as you say, it did have a League One title. Alan Johnson was the manager, alongside with Callum Fordyce.
Aye, no, that was obviously a good year. I don't know, I just think breaking through the team, like Potts was unbelievable. Right for the start, he was like a young, maybe under 20s, where the club was in administration, and we ended up making the under 20s cup final, and we were doing that without getting paid, and Potts was helping, getting sponsors, getting our travel money into training, and just loads of stuff. I think we just rallied together. Like, we should never have got to that cup final, but just we had a really good squad and just the togetherness, and I just sort of thankful for them believing in me. Jim Jeffries was unbelievable, like proper somebody I really, really admire, like tough on you but would also praise you when you were good as well. Neil McCann came in as a coach as well with Potts, and two of them were like unbelievable training and stuff. But that last year, I don't know, like started the season really well when we won the league, and just after Christmas Eve, I just started feeling like I was stalled. I didn't feel like I was getting any better. I was just kind of floating in and out the team, and got to the end of the season, and Alan Johnson was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to give you a contract, and that kind of made my mind up, because I was like, if you really want me here, there's a contract there. So I kind of just took it within myself. I was like, look, I need to go and try and find someone else. To be fair, I had a lot of like offers part-time, and I was just kind of thought, I was like, wait and see. And then I spoke to Livingston again. It was Jim MacArthur who was at Livingston, and Livingston were in the relegation playoffs, and I went through and spoke to David Martindale and David Hopkin, and they just said that doesn't matter what league we're in, we want to sign you. And I felt like I needed to take myself out of that comfort zone, and I went to Livingston, and I think it was probably the best decision I've ever made in my career, to be fair.
Certainly, incredible rate of success that follows you. I'm struck with that description that you give there, because I've always thought of you as a person who, there's a bit of all or nothing about you, that you need to take Shaun as he is and he'll give you it back. Would that be fair to say?
Nah, 100%. Like, if you're good to me, I'm good to you. Like, I always say it doesn't cost anything to be a nice person, and that's one thing that I always try and, I think if through my full career I would kind of hope that there wouldn't be really much people that would say anything a bad word about me. I'm always there for people and just try and be a good person, a good friend, a good teammate, just whatever they need. I always try and be that kind of person. So anybody involved around the club, I always try and give them my time, and that's just the kind of person I am, really.
Back-to-back promotions, and it's kind of enveloped with this personal sadness, but there's also a story of the good heart of a football club looking after you.
Aye. So as I said, like, I felt like I needed to take myself out of that comfort zone. I'd been at Dunfermline for maybe 6, 7, 8 years or whatever, and it just got to the point, you just know when you're not pushing on to, I was still only 22 or 23, and I had to leave that changing room and go and meet new people. And I just, for the start, it was just a really good group of people, hard working. I sort of changed my game a wee bit. I was more about, when I was at Dunfermline, I was just kind of like tidy on the ball and wanted to play football constantly, where at Livingston they taught me that other side of the game, the dirty side, the nasty, the sort of hard working, the stuff that nobody really sees, and I think I've just really built on that through my career now.
You carry huge respect for Livingston as a club. I know that from speaking to you. As I say, they treated you well.
Nah, that's been the best. At that time, that was the best club I could have went to. Davey, still speak to Davey Martindale, owe him so much, but we had a lot of good time. Like, he was good for me and I was good for Livingston as well. But yeah, that season we won, the first year we won League One, and I think the club needed that as well. The club needed to take a step back and got young, hungry players, like Josh Mullen was there and stuff like that as well, and obviously I ended up becoming best pals with Josh over the years, and good people, Liam Kelly, Craig Halkett, Declan Gallagher, like proper good players in that league as well. Scott Pittman, who's like probably I think he's one of Livingston's best ever players. So that season was on the pitch was one of the best for me to get back, but obviously I had a bit of a tough time off it as well. You
mentioned your mum early in the interview, and your mum passes during your time at Livingston.
Aye, it was, I think we played Albion Rovers away, so I've went from, we scored the last minute winner at Albion Rovers away, I think this was December time, and obviously buzzing, getting in the car on the way home, and then my partner phones and says, like, Shaun, your mum's in hospital. I'm like, alright, like, is everything alright? She's like, aye, just come home, come to mine, and then we'll go through. But I was playing away in Glasgow at this point, so I was driving back and I'm like, well, I'm going to pass the hospital here, so like, why do I not just go to the hospital? So you start getting wee like thoughts, you're like, what's, like, you start thinking. And then I got to Katie's house at night, and she obviously just said that my mum had passed away. So life, you go for the highest to rock bottom in the matter of a few hours. So it was obviously really hard.
One of the things that you've told me, as we've chatted many times on camera and off camera, is about your wider support network and how there have always been people there to catch you. You mentioned your gran, but you mentioned Katie and her family were key at that time as well. Yeah,
because at that point I was with Katie for like quite a long time. We'd been with each other since 16, 17 year old, so I was kind of staying at Katie's sometimes, I was staying at my gran, so it was just flitting for both sides really, because eventually I had to give my wee brother my room at my gran, so I ended up moving in with Katie. full time, and like during that they were amazing. Like, she's just been there and supported me through like all my good and my bad sort of in life. So no, it was good to hear that sort of that focus as well.
Does football reach out to players who are going through loss, personal issues, or is it that the structure is there and you need to find your way to balance personal and professional?
There was, obviously, you've got mates in football, and I just mind even like my mum's funeral, like the full Livingston squad was there, Potts was there, like people from Dunfermline were there, so that's when I sort of knew like people did really like me, as there was people from different clubs who were coming to the funeral and stuff, and that was big. Like Livingston, they all came in their tracksuits, and every single player, every coach and staff. So no, like stuff like that meant a lot. And I even mind when my mum passed away, like I just missed one day training because I thought like I'd rather be training. Like, it's a crazy thing, but see, when you're out playing football, you didn't think about what's going on at home or what's all the problems. You're just focused. The hardest bit was when I was driving from my house to Livingston, and you're just in the car and you've got all the thoughts and stuff. But I think to play football, like it takes, even now, like if there's stuff at home, or I just think about when I'm out training, like that's what I'm focusing on.
In my non-RaithTV world, my professional proper job, I've spoken to many people who have been affected by, or who their family have been affected by addiction issues.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've heard many times is a guilt about feeling I wish I'd done more, but also a desire to leave a bit of a legacy and make the person that's passed proud. Has your career been driven by that at all?
Aye. Because I feel like I had to sort of take on that father sort of figure for my brother and my younger brother. So I don't know, I felt like a responsibility when I was younger that I needed to do that when my mum passed away. No, look, I think I tried to help my mum loads of times, but addiction's an addiction. It's hard, and as I say, she wasn't at all bad. Like, she was an amazing mum as well at times, and done loads of good stuff for me and my brothers. We never missed out on holidays or school trips or new football, but she'd always, like, I always had all that sort of stuff when I was young. But no, it did. That's drove me on massively, I think, to make me who I am today. Like, I want to make sure that I'm making people up there proud.
And your grand's there through that time to make sure that you carry those messages of pride,
yeah,
and humour and connection, that there were many happy times as well.
No, there was. Like, my gran was, as I said, she was honestly like the best woman ever. She just kept everybody, the full family, glued together. Like, it wasn't just affecting us, as like it was affecting her. Like, that was her daughter as well. So she was picking up how we were feeling, and then also she had her own thoughts as well. So she was there, and she's always been there, and I'm sure she's always looking up there proud.
In the footballing sense, you conclude a successful journey with Livingston, and then it's your first skirmish with Dark Blue, and you head up the road to Dundee. How did that come about? And another successful time.
It was, but I think the Livy one, going back there, I'd probably like see that year we got promoted to League One. The Championship, we had a target at the start of that season was to stay in the league, because we wanted to just make sure we were safe in the Championship. And again, you kept winning. A wee bit similar to that season where at Raith, the first year I came, we just kept finding a way to win. You just kept gathering momentum, and around Christmas time we were up there setting, and then the longer the season go, like, you get past that, you're like, we know we're safe now, like, let's just go for it, like, there's nothing for us to lose. And went on, and like, probably nobody gave us a chance. We loved that underdog. Like, everybody thought Livingston were the underdogs, and we loved that, because inside we knew we could go and achieve something. So getting promoted for the Championship to the Premier League at Livingston's probably one of my highlights in my career. Nobody gave us a chance. A good group of boys, obviously, like said, I played with Josh and that there, and he obviously done really well in the playoff games as well. And then we got up to the Premier League, where in 2 years, if you had said when I joined, like, I would never have I'd never have thought that.
I was going to ask the question when we came on to Dundee, but it's equally as fitting when we speak about Livingston. You go up through the playoffs, and it's the alchemy of football. If you had a proper answer to this, you'd be sitting in your gold throne being interviewed right now. What are the defining factors? What are the tiny margins that take you from contenders to the team that get it over the line? Is it finance? Is it investment? Is it just a dressing room of talent? A dressing room of belief? Is it a mixture of them all? Because, we've seen here how close we've came, but at times that also seems really far away.
No, it's far away, but if you get it right, a lot of that stuff you just said there, like, of course it's finance, because you can offer the best money to better players or so-called better players, but it doesn't always work like that either, because at Livingston we were potentially the lowest paying club in the league, but we had a togetherness, we had a spirit, we never knew when we were beat, and as I said, that's what we had a wee part of that year. We done well with Ian Murray when we came so close. We never knew when we were beat. We kept going to the end. We'd nick last minute winners, and all that stuff just gives you confidence. And then you go into games, you think, right, we've got to win here. Like, I was going into games at Livingston and during that season at Raith, like, we'll win today. Like, you just had that thought. You weren't thinking, we're playing this team. We're like, no, who cares? Let's go. That year we beat Dundee United to second at Livingston and beat them a few times and competing with obviously a lot bigger clubs. So all of that stuff does come into it. But if you've got a good changing room, good players, everybody buying into what you're doing, then there's no reason why you can't go and succeed.
That success continues, as I said earlier at Dundee. What took you over the Tay Bridge?
Probably just the size of the club at Dundee. I'd been at Livingston a long time. A lot of players were starting to move on at Livy as well. There was a lot of new players coming in, and I still had a year left, and like I loved it at Livingston. It was, as I said, it's probably the best move, like the best, at that point in my career, it's the best thing I could have done. But I just felt the potential at Dundee was massive, like a big club, getting a lot of fans each week, and the manager at the time, James McPake, just really wanted me, and I could tell that. So you want to be somewhere that you're wanted, that makes you play better all the time as well.
Tell me about the success. What's that high like as you reach the ultimate goal of promotion, and whether it be playoffs or winning the title?
So again, there was like that year, the first year we went down, we had Hearts and stuff like that. So the finances that year was a massive difference, and they were by far the best team. They had the best players, and we just never really had enough to challenge them. But then COVID came along, so at Dundee, the start of it was quite up and down, to be fair. Like, I felt like I couldn't really get any momentum going, and then after COVID came, we got back, and I just started playing my best football again. We ended up getting promoted to the Premier League, and that was the reason I wanted to go, was to play in the Premiership with Dundee. So no, I think ultimately it was a good move, and I had a really good time there as well.
You're fondly regarded by Dundee supporters.
Yeah, no, I think, as I said, like, I've always, no matter what club I've been to, I try to give everything I've got around the place, on the pitch. I just try and be a good person, and obviously main job is to do well at football and stuff like that, and I feel like I've done that at most of my clubs. So no, I really enjoyed Dundee, and I still, again, like when I said about being at clubs, you get that connection with people at the club and the fans and stuff like that as well, and no, it was really successful there.
What would you say to young football players coming through in terms of making their way in the game? Because you haven't been around this place in particular for a long time, it would be a mistake to be insular and think that the dressing room is the club. The supporters, the directors, the volunteers, and all of these things. And I know that's something that you make a concerted effort to do, to widen the reach of Shaun Byrne, the player, is also Shaun Byrne, the person. Yeah, because it's, when you're in a football club, it's not just one part of the football club, you're in it all together, isn't it? So I always think if
if everybody's striving for the same goal, then you've got a better chance of achieving. There's no point if it's just the players and the manager on one side, the fans aren't involved. You need everybody fighting in the same direction and buying into what we're trying to do, and I feel like we're getting that at Raith this year as well. Everybody's bought into what the gaffer's trying to do, and obviously like the results are going pretty well as well. So I feel like for a young player, you learn as you go along, but it's all parts of football that you need to be good at as well.
Your trip at Dundee, a couple of games stood out. One you were on the bench was the Challenge Cup semi-final where Robbie Thompson his penalty heroics. I was wondering how his antics were received in the Dundee dressing room.
To be fair, I actually never even played that game. I was on the bench, but I mind Dundee were cruising. Raith only had maybe 12 or 13 players, and I think we were cruising that much. And then Raith got a goal back, and then they ended up probably being the better team. We had like 8 subs that night, made loads of changes, and kind of just then I just mind Robbie jumping about like a lunatic in the goal, shouting and making mad noises. And to be fair, that was a bad night for Dundee, to be fair, because of the way the game went and how much Raith were doing to the bare bones. I'm not saying Raith chucked the game, but I think they weren't really expecting too much out of that game. And then the longer the game went on, they were actually really good, to be fair.
Much happier memories in a night at Starks Park that still keeps me up at night, where Charlie Adams probably put in an unplayable performance in the playoff game here. What do you remember of that? And it's the offside decision for Regan Tumulty that still has me shaking my head.
No, that was to be fair, that we knew Raith were good. We had a good game plan that night. Raith obviously kept the ball a lot, and we kind of let the two centre backs keep the ball, move it, and then we'd set traps to get the ball. But Charlie Adam played 2 passes that night that were scary good. Remarkable. To be fair. But I do remember that offside goal as well. I think at the time you're like, right, it's offside, but after the game you seen it and it was a bad decision, but it was a good decision actually.
You can't smell too much. Can you imagine my wee face in that commentary box with 8 replays on it?
Against us, you're fuming, and then we won 3-0, so you're thinking, right, good, but the return Raith were really good, to be fair. They mixed up how they play, they went more direct, they scored early, and to be fair, it was squeaky bum times a wee bit. But thankfully we've seen it through. Do
your visits to Starks Park and your games against Raith Rovers, does that pique your interest when the opportunity to come here arise?
Aye, it did. Because I always loved the way Raith played. They always had good footballers, and I just minded playing against Vonnie and Regan Hendry, proper good players. So I just mind thinking I wouldn't mind playing in that way, playing and with they kind of players. And then when I eventually did sign, there was loads of good factors for me to come here, because again at Dundee that last wee bit I kind of knew I wasn't going to play, and when I'm not playing I'm not happy. I hate it. I'm a nightmare to be around sometimes. You train all week to play on a Saturday, and if you're not playing, it's not a waste of a week, but you're not getting to do what you love doing the most, and that's playing football. So at Dundee, I was speaking to, obviously Potts came here, and that was obviously one of the biggest reasons why I came here. I had players, Dylan was messaging me constantly, come on, come to Raith, you'll love it here. Josh, who I'd been good mates, I know you leave clubs and you say to people, I'll keep in touch with you, but I've generally kept in touch with Josh for the first day that I was at Livingston, even when he went to Ross County, and just loads of it made sense. I just looked at the squad as well, and I thought, good players here, and I thought I would fit into that squad really well.
You've told us, and I do think it's worth coming back to, because if we're speaking here about Shaun Byrne the person and not just a guy that kicks a ball about, that as well as having friends and people you've played with, you also spoke about needing to come to a club where your family would feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Have Raith Rovers lived up to that expectation?
Yeah, it's been good because, like, it's only 20 minutes along the road for me, so, like, Katie comes to the games. My wee boy loves coming to the games now, like, obsessed with Rory the Lion, just watches them all the time, walking up the wee ramp out there. He looks forward to that part of a Saturday. He loves the atmosphere. He loves, like, watching the games and stuff. So, it's been good to sort of, hey, like, meeting other families. I think that's massive for, like, partners as well, to meet new people. We've had a few dates with, like, the partners and the players in the team. It's stuff like that. I like it. It's brilliant, to be fair.
Let's talk some stats. As we sit here today, 84 appearances, 263rd in our all-time player list. And you're the one that brought up your goal scoring record. I'm going to go there. Shaun, what's going on?
No.
As we sit here today, we have got two goalkeepers ahead of you in the scoring charts.
Jesus.
Tommy Walker and Hamish McAlpine both got a goal.
I know.
What about they about
it? I don't know. See, to be fair, I've just kind of grown to this role as a defensive midfielder, and even in training, like, I never shoot in training. I always try and pass. Like, I take more satisfaction than other people scoring. Like, I don't know when I get proper excited when other players in the team score. I just love. I don't know.
How do we push you forward? I could hear you reversing as you answered that.
I know. I need to sort that out. Probably taking a shot would be a good start, to be fair. To be fair, I'm honestly, as long as we win, I don't really care about scoring goals. I know other players need that recognition, but generally, it doesn't bother me. It'd be good to score, but honestly, I'd rather we win, and I'm happy for other people to get the praise and the rewards.
Tell me about some of the moments from the inside that have given you the most pride since you've been at Raith Rovers. Are there pictures you look at? Are there nights you remember? Are there afternoons where you just feel blessed to have lived? What are the moments?
Big one, probably. I remember when we beat Partick in the playoff, the semi-final, and I just remember bringing my wee man on the park, Josh, Dylan. There's a few of us, we had our kids just getting picture. I don't know, you just run about mental, and the atmosphere, everybody staying back after the game, like, proper buzzing. That would be good. Just loads of that first season. See all the last minute winners and that. Sometimes you were just like, what's going on here? Up at Arbroath on that Wednesday night, Dundee United away. Like, there's loads. The Derby games like this season, beating Dundee, like, loads of good. I love the big games under the lights, the big crowds and stuff like that. They're the games that you look forward to as a player.
Touching it earlier, you've been part of squads that have went that next step and actually made it to the Premiership.
Yeah.
How close are we? Do you, I mean, this is a bit an obvious question really, because I don't think you'd be here otherwise, but do you view this as a Premiership club in waiting?
Yeah, the players we've got, like manager, like all the stuff that's going on in the background, like everybody is striving to get to that next step, but there's also 9 other teams in the league who are to try to do the same thing. So there isn't much difference between a lot of the teams in the Championship. And every week, like we say, if you're off your game by a few percent, like, you will get beat. But the quality in this change rooms, this is a top squad we've got here, and arguably as good as like a squad since I've been here. So a lot of squad depth, a lot of people fighting for the same places, and I think that's healthy, and you need that to be successful. You're not going to ever get promoted with 11 players. You need the full squad. You
mentioned fighting for your place. How do you make sure that you continue to ask questions of the coaching staff?
Just keep working hard. I think obviously the manager came in, and then a disaster first game. I had done man call, came back. I tried to push back too early. I probably was a bit off it, to be fair. When I came back, I just tried to get back because I missed playing that much, but I wasn't near ready to play. The boys were actually on quite a good run, but still doesn't take away that frustration. You want to be out there and playing. So I think over the summer I just thought, like, let's proper get my head down, work really hard, like give myself the best chance to try and get back in the team. And look, if it never happened, then it's no for I want to try. And so yeah, like worked really hard over summer, got myself in good shape, and then there was points when I came back, I didn't think I was going to get back in the team, and had a few conversations and stuff, but luckily I did get back in, done quite well, and then obviously I've been out the last few games, but just want to keep pushing and get back in.
Do you sense there's a lot of goodwill from the sport? You've very much been claimed as one of ours.
No, I do, like, there's this one guy every week, I just hear him shouting my name every week, but no, I think when I've not been playing, like, I do feel the sport when I go out to warm up, and like, social media could be horrible at times, but I do see the support, like people wanting me playing and stuff like that as well, but we've also got good players in midfield as well, like Roscoe and Bruni are two quality players. We've got Kai, Paul, who's came in for Rangers, so like the middle of the park is a tough position to play in for what the manager asks. There is a lot to do in the middle, but I know I'm good enough to play, but I just hopefully keep getting more opportunities.
There's certainly another chapter to Shaun Byrne's career here at Raith Rovers to be written.
Aye, no, 100%. Like I do, I love it here. You just get a connection with everybody, and I think I've been at clubs for a lot of time and spent, like, I didn't really jump about from club to club. I do like being at a club and sort of and making a lot of memories and building a lot of relationships, and I feel like I have done that. I love the boys in the changing room to bits, like proper close knitted team, and I think like, you could tell that with the atmosphere and that around the place. It's good.
I thought there would be themes as we spoke today, and I kind of wrote this in my notes before we started, of family, trust and loyalty. They were the bits that I wanted to make sure we got across, because I don't think I'd be servicing you very well if I didn't.
Yeah.
And there's another key part of your life that we're not yet touched on, but I'm really keen to do, because I think it's something that you're rightly hugely proud of, and that's fostering.
Yeah.
It's a core part of who you are.
Yeah.
Tell us a wee bit about that.
So as I said, I've been with my partner for 15, 16 years or whatever it's been, and Katie's mum and dad were going through the system, like, to looking to be foster carers, and I just mind one time Katie, they came to the park up next to my gran's, and they had a wee girl here, and she was fed through a tube, and like wee ear defenders, and just this wee happy girl was like running about. They were just seeing if this was going to work, and I think for that first moment I just took to her straight away. I became like proper interested in her, and honestly, like, she's the best wee girl ever. And after that, like, basically, she was only 6 when she came to Katie's mum and dad. She was fed through a tube, as I said, like, didn't eat, didn't speak, and nappies, like, had a horrendous upbringing, and like us, like Katie's mum and dad, me and Katie, and like we've just dedicated our life to her, to be fair, trying to give her a life that she should have had, something that should happen for like a young girl. So I just look at, like, sometimes I think when I'm having a rough, like, I'll look back at what she's went through for a young girl, and it pushes me on to do well for her, to be fair.
You learn so much through that journey in terms of how you guide, how you support, but that's a huge amount. There are concessions to be made at all angles. You have to learn about the world of living with an autistic young person, seeing the world through a different lens. It's a big journey for you.
No, and it is a crazy world, to be fair, for kids with autism, and like, I'll openly admit I never had a clue about autism when Katie's mum and dad, like, took this wee girl. I genuinely had no idea what it was, and I've learnt, like, so much over the years. Like, there's the good days, the bad days. There's no days the same, really. It's she was young. She was smashing iPads. She was smashing TV. She was smashing phones. Like, writing loads of stuff, but like, all the negatives, like, that's not even close to how much she's achieved with all the positives. Like, she's proper. I think she's gave, like, me and Katie a purpose in life at, like, a young age. We were only 22, 23, and we always knew when we moved away from Katie's mum and dad that like this wee girl was got to be like a massive part of her life, and to this day, like she'll, like we just adore her.
All of the highs and lows of that journey, the pride that's obvious. What would you say to anybody out there who thinks, I think I might be part of a family that's got space to help a youngster experiencing a vulnerable time in their life?
I think if you've got that like love to give to somebody, like it's the best. Like obviously Katie's mum and dad to start with, to do it was amazing, and we were there to support them to start with. Now they're there to support us when we need a bit of a break. But probably the best thing I've ever done, like with Katie, just I don't know, the satisfaction for like looking now to where she is, to this wee girl who's 6. I think she's 19 now, so like she was just this wee girl, so vulnerable, like so much problems. Now like still hard work at times, different challenges, but to look at through that full journey, to see like what she's came through and all the professionals like dealt with her, and she's like just showed everybody like how strong she is, then I think it's honestly the best thing I've ever done.
Can you readily identify the difference that you've made and your partner's made, and the role modelling that you've taken on, that you started by saying, I had to rely on people external to my family, and my gran being that kind of driving force for getting me where I needed to be. You are that to so many now.
No, I do. Like I love that feeling that like people need me. Like she needs me and Katie like more than like she would probably ever know. Like her kids need us, and I think that's a good feeling. We've got so much love to get you, like your kids and Lisa. So I think it's good to know that like she relies on us for good and bad things that are like in her life. Like she's gone through so much with her hormones and stuff like that as well. So it's like you're constantly like you're learning different parts. Like her behaviour could more challenging now because she's older and bigger and stuff. But like none will ever like take away. Like we'll always be there for her. So no, it's the best. If you're thinking about it, go for it. It's the best thing I've ever done, and I'm sure Kate will say that as well.
When you and I have spoke many times, because I declare that's fostering's the foundation of my non-Raith Rovers, my real proper job, the world that I live in. And every time I speak with you, despite having worked in that arena for 20 plus years, I'm always drawn back to the fact that you have such resilience yourself that you now manage to push out to others, not only in terms of your role as a father, and I almost hesitate to say foster carer because father. That's how you see yourself.
Sometimes I didn't really know. With Lisa, I'm not her father because Katie's mum and dad, but you're doing all that sort of stuff. She's just my best pal. Like that's what.
It's a lovely way of putting it.
She's been my best pal for when she first came, so that's the way I treat her.
And in terms of football as an environment, Simon Murray has recently spoke about his young lad coming to the game, and I think we all acknowledge that we could do more. But there's a will here at Raith Rovers, and again we've spoke maybe with the Community Foundation, that looking at youngsters who've got autism, who've got issues regulating their behaviour, it'd be interesting to see what more we could do here to open up Starks Park.
No, she does, and I've walked out at Livingston. She's walked out with me when we've played Rangers and Celtic onto the pitch, and honestly, like, absolutely loved the atmosphere. She's been to games at Raith Rovers. She's been to Rangers when I was playing for Dundee and Livingston and stuff like that as well. So she loves all this atmosphere, but then it would be good for her if there was a wee place that maybe if she wasn't at home, she could go and chill and sit with her phone or whatever. But no, I've spoke to Simon Murray, and obviously, like, I know he's got a kid with autism and that as well. So it's good to speak to other players that are going through the same thing,
as well as people in the wider game maybe tuning into this. It's good that a chat that we have here today, actually the message can land internally at Starks Park, and let's have a look at what we could do there.
No, like I had anything to do with autism, and I would be there to support it like 100%. I would love to be part of something like that if it could help kids come into games and make them feel more comfortable and relaxed and stuff like that. I think it would be an amazing thing.
Especially football, where it's actually one of the few places in life where you can, as an adult, be completely dysregulated.
Aye.
Because people behave in a way here for 90 minutes that would be otherworldly out in the street.
Nah, I always say, like, not just like Raith fans, like every fan, like I think a lot of fans come to games to just let off steam for their weekend. I feel like sometimes fans take it too far with abuse and stuff like that, but I think it's like a frustration for during the week at their work or like stuff at home. I feel like they just vent out all their anger and that's some of the players sometimes where, yeah, that's kind of how football works sometimes. It's you take the good with the bad, but no, it is.
Well, let's talk about this, maybe the newest chapter actually that you've got, and that's the coaching. What do you get out of the long hours, the time in the training pitches, as you see squads of local kids living the dream?
No, to be fair, that's... me and Dylan spoke about... So we both signed kind of similar times, a couple of years, whenever it was. And we spoke about it and we just thought, like, let's go for it. Like, why? What's the worst? Like, we could do it and it doesn't work out. Like, that's fine. Like, and to be fair, the club have supported us a lot, like properly getting us started. Like, Potts encouraged us so much to go and do it. And like, see now it's a highlight of our week. We absolutely love like coming in and taking the kids for a session and see the amount of like Raith Rovers tops that we've seen like building over, like I think we've done it about a year now, and a lot of kids were just coming in like Rangers, Celtic, Real Madrid. See like on a Monday night now, like the amount of kits, like Raith Rovers kit, and it's obviously good that they want to be part of Raith Rovers. Like you see them sometimes when you're warming up, the wee kids are shouting and you're waving. So that's when you know it's worth it that these wee kids are looking up to us, and the amount like we proper put a lot of work into to try and make it fun for them as well.
In terms of community connection, I see this firsthand at home games. I take part in the mascots will get a tour of RaithTV and the cameras and play with the scoreboard and a wee bit of the story of they get sit in the manager's seat, all this kind of business. And it never ceases to raise a smile when kids that are knee high speak about Shaun and Dylan like they're pals. And I think that's otherworldly.
No, it is, because we just see when we see them, like, they're all buzzing. We're buzzing to see them as well. Like, we're asking them how was school today, and you obviously get the mixed reviews on school. How's your game at the weekend? Like, we've just got so much energy for the kids, and I think the both of us are like that a bit in life. Like, when we go home, we're like that with our own kids as well. So it's just, I think we just love doing it. Like, proper, like, get satisfaction for seeing these wee kids and like how much they've improved. And I don't know, I just love doing it. And to be fair, I probably see Dylan more than I see Katie these days, and we're constantly texting, constantly on the phone, trying to plan sessions, trying to plan the next thing that we can do to try and sort of build our business and that as well. So not as it's been unbelievable, to be fair.
Well, we've got a few more questions because you've got to get away to meet Dylan.
Aye, to be fair, I need to.
Let's talk about Dylan. I think you might appear to be very different characters on the field, but I'm really aware that you've got so much in common in terms of your upbringing, your outlook, your values. How does the partnership work?
It's just clicks, to be fair. Like, since I've came to Raith Rovers, I just, like, with me, Josh, Dylan, Smithy, proper 4 good mates. Like, I think boys in the chain room, you've always got your car schools, your people you travel with. Like, they sort of 3 boys are the boys that, like, in the morning, like, that's who I'll look for, speak to. So, like with Dylan, we just clicked as soon as I came here, became really close. Kind of just spoke about, he done a lot of stuff with, like, Joe Cardo and that as well, and then we just thought, like, let's go for it here. He's a lot more louder than me, he's a lot more childish than me, but I don't know, with the two of us, it just works together. Like, we both bring different qualities to it, I suppose. Kids all love Dylan, to be fair. Like, he's the sort of star man here, so he loves that as well. I'm sure he'll admit that. There's
a few shirts past RaithTV's window with Byrne on the back end as well.
No, I think we're both quite popular, to be fair, but Dylan is the main man, and I'm sure he likes that sort of that tag.
I'm not naive enough to argue with that.
No, that's fine.
Let's look at a couple of questions to round up. How would you want to be remembered when football people, Rover supporters raise your name 10, 15, 20 years down the line?
Obviously, you want to be remembered for being a decent player, but just a good person. I pride a lot of myself on being a good person, like good in the change room, good with the young boys, good with the fans, good with the kids that we go to, that come to our coach, and the other kids that are about the stadium. I always stop to take autographs, and no, I just want to be remembered as a good person, and hopefully a half decent player as well. That would be all right.
Across the interview, you've given us messages towards us as supporters. Your adoration of your family is clear.
Mm-hmm.
The necessity to be a good person seems to come above all else. So there's one other person I was thinking in terms of a final question, and that would be maybe a wee tricky one, this, but what would you say to Shaun Byrne, the wee boy, that wee lad in Kennaway, if you had a hotline back to him? What would you say to him today?
Oh, just go for it. Like, say, like I was hooked on football, so back then I'd do it all over again. Maybe change a few things here and there, as you probably would during your life, but just go for it. Like, if you've got a dream, like, I think go for it 100%. Like, it's only you. You could define whether you make it as a football player. A lot of hard work, and if you're willing to put in the hard yards and the sacrifices, especially these days, it's a lot different. I feel like for young people, there's a lot more distractions in that. But I think if you want to achieve something, give it 100%, and I'm sure you'll do it.
Shaun, I find your story really engaging, and I'm going to even extend that and say it's a real privilege sitting opposite you and hearing firsthand the journey you've had to see the person that you became. I'm really, really grateful for your time.
Thank you very much, and cheers for having me. Top man, thank you.